Live from the offices of Great River Investments in the beautiful city of Burlington, Iowa, this is the Marvin Knows Finances Show. I am your host, Marvin Thompson, your certified financial planner, and joining me today is special guest Sergeant Chad Zahn with the Burlington Police Department, Joe Jolan of Jolan Media in West Burlington, Iowa, and Todd Slatke, CPA, and my partner at Great River Investments. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to listen in, and for all you listeners on Google Podcasts and Spotify, don't forget to click the subscribe button. If you prefer to see how we make the show come together, please check out our YouTube channel, Marvin Knows Finances, and click subscribe there as well. Just like the last and every time, I have to take care of a little business before we get moving too far forward to please my compliance department. Marvin Thompson is an investment advisor representative and a registered representative with Brokers Financial member SIPC. Opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of Brokers Financial. The topics discussed and opinions given are not intended to address the specific needs of any listener. Great River Investments, LLC does not offer legal or tax advice. Listeners are encouraged to discuss their financial needs with the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstances. So occasionally we like to jump off the financial topics and discuss some fun ideas or local happenings that we find interesting. In the past, we've had the students from BHS come in and talk about the programs going on at the school. But today, Sergeant Chad Zahn with the Burlington PD has joined us, and he's going to be discussing some of this new program. I guess it's called Burlington's Community Engagement Unit.
That's correct. CEU.
CEU, very good. So, Chad, welcome, and thank you for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about your background.
I started with the Burlington Police Department in 1994, so I've been doing this for about 28 years. But I've held a multitude of responsibilities. I started off as a patrolman. Mm-hmm. I did the bike patrol. I was a detective. I supervised a squad of officers on patrol, and now I'm in this position.
Very good, very good. What was the driving force that made you want to become a police officer to begin with? Because you're not from Burlington originally, right?
No.
So how'd you get to Burlington, Iowa?
I was married to a woman that was from here.
Gotcha.
But, it's kind of funny because I always wanted to be a police officer, specifically a detective. And when they did the background check on me and they contacted my mom, she said, I don't know why he wants to do this. He couldn't find his own shoes. That's a true story.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh, by far, the Criminal Investigation Division detectives was the best gig there.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Even the hours, though? That's got to be the worst part about the job.
Well, sometimes, you miss kids' birthdays, you get called out on Christmas, stuff like that. But the excitement, the hunt is the fun part.
Yeah. Don't all crimes happen at like 1 o'clock in the morning? It's kind of like babies being born.
That's right.
Nobody's ever born at 7 a.m.
That's right.
Excuse me. So let's talk about the Community Engagement Unit. First of all, what is it? What was the purpose behind it being formed?
So the Community Engagement Unit was started to help foster relationships with the community outside of the typical law enforcement role. In other words, most of the time when we deal with people as police officers, it's in a negative light. We're writing them a citation or arresting them, or we're dealing with them at the worst time of their life. Mm-hmm. They've been injured or assaulted, whatever. So we really want to work with the community and show them that we are part of the community and we rely on them for their help. So the idea is to step outside our comfort zone and become members of the community and engage with them in ways that are positive to mm-hmm. foster those relationships.
Mm-hmm. Do you find the community is pretty responsive to this type of program?
Yes, we the programs that we've put on before, National Night Out, Shop with a Cop, things like that, we've received a lot of support for that.
Yeah. Does the local media, social media, do they pick up on this stuff and give pretty positive feedback too?
Yes, for the most part.
For the most
yes.
part? Good. I mean, Burlington PD really does seem to do a pretty good job of reaching out to the community and trying to get them involved. I mean, we're going to talk about a few of the programs specifically, but it's, I guess I've been involved with the PD in various ways through my brother and stuff like that in the past. But, from outsider looking in, it looks like you guys are really trying to do a good job. And it's not just with the current police chief, but the previous police chiefs too started initiating a lot of this stuff a few years back.
Sure. And, we can't do we solve crime better as a community. There's a lot more eyes out there than what we have, and we encourage people, if they see something, to call us, even if they think it's minor but it's out of the ordinary. We always respond and look into it.
Very good. So let's talk about some of the activities that you guys have coming up with the CEU. Coffee with a Cop. I happened to be in the grocery store this morning and I saw a big billboard as I walked in.
Yeah, that was one of the first things I got to do.
Yep.
But I hope you come. It's Monday, May 23rd, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Or I'm sorry, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.
It's a lot of donuts.
Yeah. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Hy-Vee on Agency Street. And my understanding is they're going to provide coffee and donuts.
Oh, really? So literally, people can just come in. There'll be a handful of you police officers there.
Yes.
And their purpose is just to ask you questions, get to know you better.
Yeah.
What's the deal?
We don't have an agenda.
Okay.
We're not going to make speeches.
Okay.
We want to have a cup of coffee and a conversation.
Okay.
So really, we hope that the people that show up from the community are the ones that guide that conversation. We want to talk about what they want to talk about, but it's no different than a group of men meeting for coffee in the morning. That's what we're hoping for.
Well, there's a few locals at Hy-Vee every morning,
sure,
so you'll have
sure.
a crowd there for sure.
Good
Absolutely. What's the BPD Grillin' and Chillin' event?
So that is in the process right now. We have a grill, a gas grill, and we are going to take it to various locales in the community.
Okay, so this is not just a one-time event.
No, I know. No,
Okay.
I don't. We don't have a schedule yet. We've just started the planning stages, but we're gonna go out in the community and we're gonna grill hot dogs and hopefully engage with the community.
Nice, very nice. Let's talk about some other activities the Burlington Police Department promotes. Todd and I both participated in a program called the Citizens Police Academy, and I'm going to probably get this wrong, but it's like an 8-week program. Is that correct? And it's held once a year around February, March, somewhere in there. And you get to apply to become a Citizens Police Academy member. And then if you're chosen, you come every Tuesday night, I believe, and you listen to various topics on a weekly basis. And then at the end of it, it's followed up with a ride-along if you choose to participate in that. And then you get to go out to Big Hollow and test guns and stuff like that.
The fun
It's pretty
stuff.
cool. So you've been involved with the Citizens Police Academy in the past. What's the purpose behind that? I mean, that's been a program that's been going on for a few years now.
So actually, the purpose of that is to help community members know exactly what it is that we do on a daily basis. So that the topics are instructed by police officers at the Burlington Police Department, and I've never been involved in organizing it until now. I have instructed before, but it seems to be very popular. The people that attend seem to like it. Did you do the ride-along?
I did.
Yeah.
That was the best part for me.
I hear that from several
It's funny
people.
because my ride-along, it's like, we'll start at 7, you can leave at around 11, every 4 hours. I think at 2 in the morning I finally left. It was just, it wasn't that there was a lot going on, it was just fun.
Yeah.
I was very interested to see the different scenarios that we interacted with the night on my ride-along. But and then the class work or the class time, I found that really interesting because you're almost put in the position of looking at the situation through the eyes of a police officer.
Sure.
Which, as a citizen, I don't know about you, Todd, but I never thought about stuff like that.
No, I did it to learn more. And I really did learn a lot about the activities that you never see. So there's a lot of things that are, I didn't know much about the drug task force and a group of guys or individuals that participate in that almost like kind of volunteering from their agency or they're selected from their agency. So it's a multi-agency kind of thing. Didn't know much about that. Didn't know much about the K-9 unit.
That was one of the cooler ones.
Yeah.
Didn't know much about how detectives work, the court part, the court process, and so on. I have not done my ride-along yet because I was a COVID student, so my session got canceled towards the end. I actually went back and finished the next year, the classroom part of it. As far as heart-pumping parts to it, though, the thing that got me, we went to the old police station, which was abandoned at that point, not in use, and did kind of a scenario of clearing a building. And we all knew that there are paper targets around that door. And it still makes your heart pump
yeah.
like there's really going to be somebody shooting back at me.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting how guys have to, not just guys, but officers have to work together. They have to trust each other. They have to back each other up. They have to get out of the way when it's the next guy up. And really interesting, very interesting.
So did you, when you went through the class, did we have the firearms simulator?
No, that came into play right after my
Yeah, I
class,
didn't
so
get to
we
that
didn't
part
get to do
either.
that either.
You come down. I'll get you through it. But that when we do that, we train on that frequently now, and it's you're in front of a big screen and you're using a special gun, of course, and it's a shoot don't shoot type situation and stuff. And I'll tell you, I know it's fake. But it seems so real, and I actually start sweating.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I have I guess it would be a bias towards support of the police in some of that split-second kind of decision-making that has to happen. And then for the next 2 years, that same split-second decision gets dragged through the media on how it may have been wrong and may have been right, but you're working with what you have right then,
Right.
in a very tense, dark, emotionally charged situation. And I have a lot of respect for the people that have to do that.
Thank you.
Well, for anybody who ever wants to, I think they start taking applications around January.
Yes.
For the Citizens Police Academy. It's open to the public. Like I said, you have to fill out the application. You have to be approved. But it's something that really everybody should to try to do this.
Yeah, and when we select the people, we try to get them from all different types of backgrounds.
All different types of backgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, my class was extremely diversified, very diversified.
Ours was
All
too.
age ranges, male, female. We had a few females who were willing to take the taser shot. It was an interesting class, but it's very educational. But more importantly, you guys make it fun for us to be there, because we're giving up an hour and a half on a Tuesday night for
Sure.
8 consecutive weeks, and it's fantastic.
And I would think a benefit maybe back from the police side of the world would be that you have people then that kind of go out and somewhat be ambassadors or stewards
Sure.
of a message that, hey, these guys have a really difficult job and there's a lot to it, and they're trained really well, and they're working with short budgets, short staffing. There's a lot that goes into it that people just don't see, and I really don't think it's covered appropriately for the real news that's there. It's not covered appropriately.
So you should be a spokesperson of ours, because you answered the question about what is the Citizens Academy about, because that's exactly the message that we want to send.
Yeah. I kind of have I'm an advocate of you guys here, but I kind of have this question. So we see a lot of negative in the media. Like you say, police interactions often are negative. And it seems like a lot of the coverage of what's going on in policing across this country is negative, and that's the tone. And what is your feel more on a Burlington, Iowa community basis? Is it really that much negative out there, or is there a lot of positive community support?
We have a ton of positive community support. You see on the national news, you see the bad things that are happening, or the negative things that are happening in law enforcement. But locally, very rarely does that happen. We have people bring us food, and they're constantly, you're out in the community and they thank you for your service or whatever. So no, I haven't experienced that myself, but I have seen it on a national level. I think we have a great support here in Burlington.
I would guess that's great to hear, and I would guess other individual communities are that way too. It's just that's not what sells newspapers or television ads.
And that's the
Right.
exact point.
Yeah.
Only
Right.
the bad news sells.
You don't hear the good stuff.
No,
That's
hear
right.
the good stuff. So, well, speaking of good stuff, let's talk about Shop with a Cop. Okay, I believe this is a program that you guys sponsor or put on around Christmas time, and it's dealing with the young children of the community, but besides writing donations checks to it, I don't know much about it.
Okay.
So how are the kids, how do you guys find the kids to work with? What exactly happens?
So we contact the schools,
Okay.
and they give us a list of names.
Okay.
And we it's schools throughout Des Moines County, because the Sheriff's Department participates, West Burlington participates, and to be quite honest with you, I've never been involved in the organizing of it, but I know that a ton of the money comes from organizations that donate it or individuals that donate it. I've gotten to participate one time because I've had to work the other times, but the time that I got to participate last year, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable to spend time with these kids and to see how happy it makes them.
So are the kids buying gifts for themselves? Are the kids buying gifts for their family members, or a combination of both, or what's this?
Both.
Both?
I have found that most of them want to buy for somebody else.
That's nice.
Yeah, very nice. The young man that I was with last year, he bought more for his family members than he did himself. But it really was an experience that I'll never forget it.
That's cool. That's cool. So for all the business leaders in Southeast Iowa, $100 donation, a couple $100 donation, $500 donation, this goes a very long way to helping these children out with their Christmas celebrations and so forth. So we strongly encourage you to use it. The funny thing is that if you happen to be driving around Burlington on the day of the actual event
And don't know that it's going on.
and don't know that it's going on, I'm going to warn you right now, sirens are blaring from everywhere, because I believe the kids get to ride to the stores
That's right.
in the police cars.
They do.
And they get to turn the sirens on and the
They
lights.
control the
and-
siren. Yep.
and yeah. So it's an experience. You think Burlington's under attack.
Oh yeah. There's squad car after squad car, and these kids are running the sirens, and they don't turn them off the entire time.
No.
It's a lot of fun. But the looks that we get when we pull up to we went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and we went to Walmart, and the people in the parking lot have no clue that we're coming. Yeah. And when we pull in there, it's pretty funny to see their expressions.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Dick's was a pretty good sponsor for you guys.
They
for
were.
that.
They were very
a little
generous.
Shout out to them. I heard they were very generous. to
Very
you guys.
generous.
So good for them. And thank you, Dick's. That's fantastic. National Night Out. This is not just a local program. This is something that you guys participated in a program that really goes on across the nation.
Yes.
Okay. So National Night Out, if I remember right, was held down at the train depot. Is that usually where
it was held in between the auditorium and Port of Burlington.
Okay,
down the
cool.
riverfront.
So what's National Night Out?
You're going to put me on the spot here.
I know kids can come down and see
Oh, yeah.
fire trucks and police
Yeah.
cars and stuff like that.
So this is not just a police function. There will be a multitude of different organizations and agencies there. The fire department, the National Guard. I'm sorry, but there's just a ton of people that come down there, and it is all geared toward basically crime prevention and things that the organizations that are there, what they do to help the community and stuff. But there's a lot of things for kids to do. We offer them something to eat. We interact with them. There's a bounce house, and there's just a multitude of things that go on during that event. And then at the end of it, it's another parade through the communities where the police officers drive through with the lights and sirens on.
that's cool.
Yeah, it is we had a fantastic turnout this last year. One of the things we're going to have to worry about is the riverfront's tore up right now.
Yeah.
They're redoing that, so we're going to have to hold it somewhere else, and we have a planning session coming up very shortly to start discussing that.
Very good.
Where we're going to go.
And that's another thing where businesses in town can donate.
Oh, sure.
We donated a couple bikes last year, I think, for a drawing for the kids, and it was really nice. One of the kids reached out to me and wrote me a personal thank you letter for his new
wow.
BMX bike. So,
That's cool.
That's very cool.
That's cool.
I
Come on down.
appreciated that.
You might see cops dancing because last year
We don't need to see that.
they were line dancing.
And I have a question before. Actually, sorry, I'll just kind of lean over. But you said something that it was a great point when you had said, police officers partnering with the community, it's the best outcome. And so how, as this podcast is broadcast, to many different communities. How are ways that people can join with the police department for their community to help out? Like, what are some of the things that you might have seen, or what you recommend, or how could we help?
So, very rarely is a police officer on a scene where a crime happens. We don't witness it ourselves, but there are a lot of people that do, and I get it. Many of them want to remain anonymous or don't want to talk about it for fear of repercussions or whatever. I get that, but sometimes it's just as simple as leading us in the right direction. We're not always saying that you have to come and testify in court, but the more information we can receive, the easier it makes it to solve that crime. Mm-hmm. Like I said, most crimes that we solve are a result of either physical evidence or a witness. Somebody that saw something that gives us information that leads to an arrest. Neighborhood watch is another thing that I do. We are going to have a class on how to start a neighborhood watch in your neighborhood. That's in the planning stages. I met with two of our neighborhood watch people that kind of organized this the other day, and we're working on a date for that to happen. So that'll be on our Facebook page and stuff like that when that comes about. So please watch for that. But yeah, that's what we need. Is we need the community's help, the community's involvement in making our city a safe place to live, work, and play.
Okay, well, that's a perfect lead into my next question. How do people get a hold of you with questions? Is there a phone number or email address, and then of course promote your social media sites, because I know the Burlington PD has quite a few followers on Facebook, Instagram, and so forth.
We are very active when it comes to that. When somebody brings down, for example, donuts, I shouldn't say that. I know you're gonna,
I brought donuts in there, by the way.
Yeah, but when somebody brings that down, we try to thank them publicly via our social media. But to reach me, my phone number is 753-8365. You can call me with any questions or concerns or whatever. You can reach me by email address. That is zahnc@burlingtoniowa.org.
Okay,
that's
perfect. Guys, do you have any other questions, anything?
What's the website again, or the email address?
zahnc@burlingtoniowa.org.
Okay.
Very good. So, we've spent maybe 15, 20 minutes on this topic today, but honestly, folks, Todd, Joe, and I have lived in many places across the Midwest, and I don't remember ever living in a place where the police department was so involved with the community. I mean, it's really nice to be in the city of Burlington and to have this relationship where, Chad's willing to come in and talk on our podcast. They're doing a lot of wonderful things with education in the schools, education of the kids, just really helping out the community in general. So our heartfelt thanks goes out to them, too, for the job that they do, because having experienced it for a whopping 6 hours one night, it's the job I'm not going to want to do, I can promise you that. So anyway, my heartfelt thanks goes out to all of you for listening today. Once again, a special thanks to Sergeant Chad Zahn, Joe Jolina, and Todd Slatke for joining us today and providing their questions, feedback, and so forth. We want to hear from you. Please reach out to us by either giving us a call at 319-576-2264 or visiting our website at www.greatriverinvestments.com. Go to the Contact Us section of the site, and I or a member of my team may be in touch with you shortly to discuss our next steps together. Have a great day.